Good morning and thank you for joining us for the Fire Situation Report for today, Monday, September 14th, 2015, coming to you live on Periscope at the CAL FIRE headquarters in Sacramento. I'm Daniel Berlant. It has been obviously a very busy couple of days for our firefighters. In fact, it's been a very busy couple of weeks, if not a couple of months. Already this past week, we responded to over 250 new wildfires. In total, so far, fire crews in California have responded to over 7,000 wildfires that have burned well over 650,000 acres. Now, just in the past couple of days, we've had several fires that have gone into the history books, both as the large fires as well as destructive fires. I want to switch right over to our statewide interactive Google fire map, which you can find on our website at fire.ca.gov. Here you can see there are currently 12 active fires burning in California. On these 12 fires, over 11,000 firefighters battling these fires. Now, up here in the northwestern portion of the state, these 5 fires, most of them sparked by lightning, have been burning now for well over a month. Most of them started back at the end of July and are burning on both the 6 rivers as well as the Shasta Trinity National Forest. So the U.S. Forest Service battling this series of fires. If you want more information, check out the U.S. Forest Service website, which we have linked from our website at fire.ca.gov. But I want to focus in on 3 of the major fires that are currently burning right now. We'll start with the Valley Fire. The Valley Fire has been one of the most destructive fires, as I mentioned, already this year. Now, the latest numbers, 61,000 acres have already burned in this fire. The Valley Fire started just before 1:30 Saturday afternoon and quickly spread. It started near the community of Cobb, which is right here, and quickly pushed down into the southeast direction. Now, this perimeter is somewhat old. The fire did burn through many of these areas, has continued to burn into Napa County as well as into parts of Sonoma County. Hit hard, though, the communities of Cobb, the communities of Middletown, the communities of Hidden Valley Lakes. I want to show you just a couple pictures that just show you just the destruction and devastation left behind on this fire. Now, despite the efforts of firefighters, we estimate right now that over 400 homes were destroyed by this fire. Hundreds of other outbuildings, businesses, commercial barns, sheds, also destroyed. Obviously, this fire leaving nothing in its path. Now, one thing though that is often asked is, why does one home survive where the other home is burned? Why are this one home standing? Well, the answer is a lot of times it's not just the fire that burns up to the homes and then ignites everything in its path on fire. It's the embers that are thrown sometimes a quarter mile, a half a mile ahead of itself, and it ignites those homes on fire. Those embers rain down on all the homes. But it just takes one of those embers to find a weak spot in the vegetation or in the building itself as well, and it ignites that building on fire. But this is that aftermath. Again, likely up to 1,000 structures destroyed on the fire. That would make it one of the most destructive fires in our state's history, easily hitting the top 5 most destructive wildfires. So switching back over to our map, what are we expected to see today? The likelihood of fire spreading in multiple directions still occurs. That's what we saw yesterday. We saw the fire push up to the north, start to threaten parts of Soda Bay. It continued to push more to the west. That's what pushed it into Sonoma County. There was some destruction to the geothermal power facility out in the geysers area over here in Sonoma County. Last night, the cooler temperatures, the higher humidity, the lack of wind really gave crews an opportunity to get some progress on the fire, really helped slow down the fire, but unfortunately today we are expecting the fire to pick up. It's too early, though, to know where that activity will be, and that's why there are still a lot of evacuations. Really, almost 50 square miles have been evacuated, all the way from pretty much Lower Lake and Kelseyville, all the way down along the Highway 29 corridor to the outer edges of Calistoga, all the way into Napa County, past all the way into Lake Berryessa. The community of Angwin, they are on an advisory evacuation. But again, if you live in the general area, you need to be prepared. You need to make sure you have everything ready to go in case the fire does shift and new evacuations are called. You are ready. So that is, again, the Valley Fire. Just to, for those of you who just joined us, 61,000 acres burned, 5% contained. Evacuations remain in effect for thousands of residents. The other large fire that is burning in California right now is the Butte Fire. It started last week, 71,000 acres in total have burned so far. Here you can see this fire burnt into 2 counties. Started in Amador County, just east of Jackson, quickly jumped the McCallamy River, threatening McCallamy Hill, going all the way down past San Andreas, threatening communities like Mountain Ranch, coming towards Angels Camp down here, Murphy's, even up into the Arnold area. Those were all areas that were evacuated. As I mentioned, so far this fire has burned over 71,000 acres, 30% contained. So crews did make real good progress on this fire. Again, last night's cooler temperatures helping out. However, already today, we are seeing fire activity pick up here in the Mountain Ranch area. This area still has remained under an evacuation notice, a mandatory evacuation. But this is right now where we're seeing a lot of that fire activity. We are expecting to see a little bit of gusty winds, possibly coming out of the south. That could push this fire back up to the northern area. Again, all these areas right here are still under an evacuation order. Again, let's go back to some good news here on this fire. Last night, with the progress being made, many of the residents on the outer edge of this fire, this is the Highway 49 corridor, comes right down here from San Andreas down into Angels Camp. Then Highway 4 goes up through Murphy's, up into Arnold. This area right in here that had been put under an evacuation notice, the north part of 49 and the west part of Highway 4, those areas, those evacuations have been lifted, as well as for residents in the main part of McCallamy Hill. So progress is being made, but again, fire activity already increasing. I want to show you some video just to give you just an idea of how destructive this fire was. Even into the late hours, you can see flame lengths 20, 30, 40 feet, even in some areas up to 100 feet. Flames being thrown, and you can imagine as this fire is burning, all this color in here is just hot embers being thrown. The same situation as what we experienced in the Valley Fire. Those embers rain down on homes, ignite the homes on fire before firefighters can even get there. We have a lot of crews that are battling this fire, as you can see right here, getting these hot spots out. But just look how fast this fire is burning. And that's been what we've seen on these 2 fires. Rapid rate of spread. Now, it's not completely unusual to see a fire burn this quickly. What is unusual, though, is the fact that there aren't Santa Ana winds. If we had 80, 90, maybe 100-mile-an-hour winds, it would explain some of this. When the Valley Fire, though, in Lake County ignited, there were gusty winds 20, 30 miles an hour. But again, nothing like we have been seeing here. So I want to go back to our map over here and go down to one more of the additional fires. The Rough Fire. It has been burning now for well over a month. It is burning in Fresno County. The U.S. Forest Service continues to battle this fire primarily in Fresno County. It has burned all around Hume Lake. It has continued to start to shift into areas that CAL FIRE protects, Squaw Valley, Dunlap. We have a large contingency of our resources in this area that have built contingency lines, making sure that if this fire does continue to grow, that it does not go into those areas. Now, as of today, over 138,000 acres have burned. This fire is 40% contained. This fire now has become the 16th largest fire in California's recorded history, so a very large fire. Now, there is a lot of threat to the forest, both the Sequoia and the Sierra National Forest, as well as the Kings Canyon National Park. But again, the U.S. Forest Service, the primary responding agency on this fire. For more information on the Rough Fire, make sure to visit our website. We have a link to their page at fire.ca.gov. So the Rough Fire, the Valley Fire, the Butte Fire, for those of you just joining us, 3 of the fires that are really getting a lot of the attention. If you're just joining us, the Valley Fire has burned 61,000 acres, 5% contained. The Butte Fire has burned over 71,000 acres. It's 30% contained, already starting to see some fire activity. And then again, the Rough Fire, nearly 140,000 acres burned, 40% contained. Let's talk a little bit about what we can expect today. This is the weather forecast in Lake County. Cooler temperatures this week. That is going to be nice. Down even into the 60s on Wednesday, possibly some rainfall. We're definitely looking forward to those cooler temperatures. Some light winds, though. That may be a problem, even though these are not significant winds. 13 miles an hour maybe tomorrow, down to 4 later in the week. This is better conditions for us to be able to fight a fire. But I have to stress, even with these cooler temperatures, even with this more favorable weather, it doesn't necessarily mean we won't see fire activity. It just means we're going to have a better opportunity to get containment on this fire. Here's the forecast for San Andreas. 82 degrees today. Not bad at all. Down into the 70s through the next couple of days. So the weather forecast overall is positive news for us. Even some rainfall. These are some rainfall totals for today issued from the Weather Service. Light rain in Sacramento, even some reportable rain in San Francisco. We're hoping tomorrow, you can see, and into Wednesday, still more rainfall, especially up into the coastal area. We could see some rainfall over the Valley Fire. Any moisture is obviously going to be a welcome sight for our crews. For the highs, again, 75 degrees along the coast in Santa Rosa, 78 in Sacramento on Tuesday. So temperatures a lot more favorable for firefighting. But again, these have been all destructive fires for sure. Now, for the latest information and the breaking news as it occurs, always make sure you're following us on Facebook and on Twitter. That's where you can get any of the updates as they occur. Make sure to visit our website at fire.ca.gov. That's where you can find that interactive Google Fire Map. If we didn't cover a fire you want to see, go to our website. You can see all that information, get information about evacuations, find out where those evacuation shelters are, and just get the latest numbers from there. So for now, that's the latest on the fire situation in California. I'm Daniel Berlant. Have a fire safe day.